Listen to ASMR sounds with your screen off and relax uninterrupted.
Hello, everyone. Please gather around. We're going to get started. It's really great to see everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Tara Turner. I serve as Assistant Vice President for Institutional Advancement, and I'm also a proud alum class of 1999. Woohoo! Go Eagles. I also served as a chair for the Fanny Jackson Coppin Statue Planning Committee. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Whether you're here in person or online, we're really excited to have you join us as we unveil the statue of our namesake, Miss Fanny Jackson Coppin, and dedicate the Fanny Jackson Coppin Plaza. I'd like to wish all my fellow Eagles a happy homecoming. Yes, I look forward to seeing you all throughout the weekend as we celebrate. And I really hope you appreciate this beautiful weather that we ordered up for you all, right? We could not have asked for a more perfect day for this momentous occasion. This is a really historic day for Coppin State University, and I'm pleased to see that so many of you are as excited as I am to finally see it arrive. I was honored to have been a part of this project, and I was inspired by the tremendous outpouring of support that many of you showed from the very beginning. I think this is a most fitting time to reveal this monument of our namesake as it coincides with not only our homecoming, but also with African American History Month, as well as Women's History Month, which begins in March. Fanny Jackson Coppin was a trailblazer, and we celebrate and salute her for the legacy that she left us. Today, we will take a moment to pay homage and show her our gratitude for her contributions to society and the work that she did to uplift her people. So, we're going to do a little deviation in the program, and I'm going to ask Dr. Mary Wanza to come forth to give us some information about the life of Fanny Jackson Coppin. Dr. Wanza?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm going to tell you the story about Coppin and the naming of Coppin. Imagine it was 1899, the eve of the 20th century. Baltimore, like so many urban areas, had an influx of African American migrants, many who were escaping the oppression of the Deep South. African Americans were seeking better social, political, and economic and educational opportunities. They were looking for the promised land. For some, yes, but most, no. Let us just look at education today. The illiteracy rate of blacks in Baltimore was astounding. In 1890, more than a third of black Baltimoreans could not read. African American leaders pled for more teachers in schools. That seemed to be a simple request, but remember, 3 years prior to this time, in Plessy versus Ferguson, the Supreme Court ruled that equal but separate accommodations for whites and colors were legal. Fast forwarding, Baltimore had established some colored schools, but there were not enough teachers. So, in effort to meet the need of African American teachers, on December 18, 1990, the Baltimore Board of School Commissioners established a 1 year training program to prepare African American elementary school teachers. It became known as the Colored Teaching Training School. In 1926, Dr. Miles Connor was appointed principal. Dr. Connor said that he felt that it was time to have a proper name, to get rid of the old stigma of a colored training school. There were several suggestions, but Frances L. Murphy, who was one of the teachers, and we do have a building named for her, and appropriately is being used by Coppin Academy at this time, she suggested that we name it Fanny Jackson Coppin Normal School. Surprisingly, the Board of Commissioners authorized the renaming. And so in 1926, we became the Fanny Jackson Normal School. Fanny Jackson was born a slave. She was the second African American woman to receive a Bachelor's of Arts from Oberlin College. Fanny was very influential educator and community leader of the late 19th century. As a teenager, she knew she wanted to be a teacher. She said that she would get her education and then she would teach her people. She was all about her community. After Oberlin, she moved to Philadelphia, where she became the principal of the Institute for Colored Youth. It was one school, that was one of the schools that had received the status of being a high school. It was very unusual for an African American woman to receive such an honor, but she took it and she did it well. I'd like to call her a race woman, how they have the race men, but she was a race woman. She proclaimed that Black solidarity and economic independence were the answers to race improvement. She lectured and wrote articles advocating education, both the classical style and the industrial style that Booker T. Washington had endorsed. She wanted the establishment of Black businesses, newspapers, and banks. She believed in the ability for Blacks to help themselves. Her favorite saying was, "Knowledge is power." That is why she was chosen for our namesake, because we needed someone to emulate and to help us build up our principles and philosophies for education and community. Closing, I want to give you a fact, and some of you can do fact checking if you like, but there's 110 HBCUs, and only 2 are named for African American women. Bethune-Cookman, which was founded by Mary McLeod Bethune, and Coppin State University.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Y'all didn't hear me. I wasn't talking to those folks across town. I'm talking to Eagles. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's how we do it. It is a pleasure to have you all with us this evening. It's great to see so many of our Eagles, our friends, and special guests with us. It's an honor to bring us all together on this special day. Before I begin my remarks, I just want to thank a few stakeholders. I want to thank our Coppin State University Foundation Board. I don't know if there's any of the members of the foundation board here with us today, but I want to thank them. I want to thank our National Alumni Association and all of our wonderful alumni. Let's give them a round of applause. Led by President Tish Madry. I also want to give the Fanny Jackson Coppin Planning Committee, led by Tara Turner, a round of applause. Thank you very much, Tara. Mr. Sam Patterson, Roy Thomas, Delaney Contractors, and RKK Architects, who built the foundation or the plaza that we have here today, and Sam and Roy for all of your work and working to make sure that this project went off without a hitch. In fact, I was talking to Sam one day, and Sam said, you know, this was one of the funnest and easiest projects I've ever worked on. And I was pleased to hear him say that because we have some more in the works, Sam. I also want to thank all of the generous donors who helped make this day possible. This would not have happened without your support. So thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank my cabinet, our academic deans, leadership of the university. I want to acknowledge and thank my wife, our First Lady, Toinette. Let me also acknowledge the incredible Fanny Jackson Coppin scholars. Are our scholars with us today? Here we are. Come here. I want you to step forward up here. I want y'all to stand across this step right here. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear. All right? We're gonna work on that. All right? So let me be clear, is that when you talk about investing, this is what you're investing in. The next generation of scholars and leaders, those Eagles who are coming to our institution, who are looking for support and the wraparound services they need to be successful. And your generosity, your support helps them complete their journey. So I don't ever want us to lose sight of why we do what we do. It is for the young men and women who have their hopes and dreams in this university. So let's give our FJC scholars a round of applause. Thank you, ladies. All right, thank you. You know, I also want to take a moment to thank two incredibly important people. Doctors Winky Camphor and Peaches Camphor. Not just for their support as being the lead sponsors on this project, but for being great philanthropists, amazing people, and unwavering believers in all things Coppin. Peaches, you and Winky are an inspiration for us all. We love you and we thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. When I brought the team together and introduced the vision that we were going to develop a plaza and erect a statue of Fanny Jackson Coppin on campus, it was an interesting discussion. There was overwhelming response of positiveness and excitement with an ounce of cautious optimism. There were some who were they had concerns about past attempts that didn't fare well. There were questions about if we would get enough donors to participate. Then there were questions about who would make the sculpture and if they had the talent and the ability to pull off what we had envisioned. I told the team, don't worry, I know a guy. Pastor Frederick Hightower is a native of West Virginia, is an extraordinary artist. He is also senior pastor and founder of All Nations Revival Center in Institute, West Virginia. Pastor Hightower graduated from West Virginia State University, a sister HBCU, with his bachelor's degree in fine art. He continued his studies at Marshall University, pursuing a master's in psychology. And Fred, I want to thank you for taking on this project. I greatly appreciate our deep friendship, and I want to thank you for standing with Eagle Nation. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, 16 short months ago, we embarked on this quest to develop this plaza and erect a sculpture of Fanny Jackson Coppin on campus. And while the global pandemic may have delayed this dedication, this is a day that would not be denied. Today, we gather and we pause to honor and celebrate a remarkable woman, a trailblazer, and a champion of education, and to officially welcome her home. It is in this place that she will stand for all time, majestically watching over the beautiful campus that bears her name. This is a sculpture that is our collective achievements. It attests to the strength and the determination of the Coppin spirit. And I want everybody, every student, every faculty, staff, alumni, and friend to see this sculpture and to be reminded of what we can accomplish and that the pursuit of a quality education is never unattainable. I want Fanny Jackson Coppin's presence on this campus to harden our pride in Coppin and to serve as a symbol of Black excellence, and to appreciate her journey as a motivating factor for our own. I want our students to look at her and to understand that her life was not easy. She faced hardships. She had doubts. She had setbacks. And they too will encounter challenging times. But despite living in the most darkest period of our history, she triumphed, and so will they. Her life, her story tells us that every journey will have its tough moments, but yet no goal is impossible. It is my hope that Fanny Jackson Coppin's legacy and her presence on this campus will continue to inspire confidence across all of our campus community and those who pass this way. She lived an extraordinary life, and she provided unparalleled service. Her purpose was to transform every environment she entered. Fanny understood and embraced the ideology that on the other side of a quality education was a better quality of life. She committed herself to this belief, and it became her life's work. And I am beyond proud that we are bringing her home. The sculpture that stands here, she will exist as a motivator, an inspiration. She is extending a diploma to all of those who are willing to accept it and understand that through a transformative education, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. She will stand here greeting all newly incoming students and welcoming back all returning students every fall, every spring, through rain, summer, sleet, and snow. She will powerfully serve as a constant symbol of optimism, courage, dignity, grace, and wisdom. And as a new Coppin tradition, on the morning of graduation, I will lead our candidates by Fanny Jackson Coppin to symbolize them accepting the degree that she offered when they first entered. And on that day, as they near the completion of their journey, they will pass by her for the final time as a student of Coppin State University. And the next time they see her, they will be an alum of Coppin State University. It gives me great pleasure on this day to officially dedicate Fanny Jackson Coppin and her plaza to campus. I am pleased to present this beautiful bronze sculpture in her image to us, Eagle Nation. I would love for Dr. Camphor to please join me on the plaza. On the count of three, I want to hear you count it off. How does she look? Fanny Jackson's shadow of academic excellence is long and serves as an excellent example for us to draw strength and inspiration from. I'm asking all of us to continue to support our Fanny Jackson Coppin Scholarship so we can continue to support Fanny Jackson Coppin scholars, so that we can continue to push them to their intellectual limits and feed their intellectual curiosity. With Fanny Jackson Coppin as our guide, and in the spirit of our mission, let us never waver from our motto of nurturing potential, transforming lives. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate you. Let's keep it going, Coppin. Welcome home. Let's have a great homecoming. I'm going to give you the podium.
I didn't come to make a speech. I just came to let you know how much I love Coppin. Coppin gave me a job and a wonderful husband. I don't know where I would be without Winky. He's done a lot for me, and he's done a lot for many of you. And when we found out that we had a new president, he ordered something special to give to Dr. Jenkins. It came and it was damaged, so he sent it back. And then it came again, and he never got a chance to present it at a proper time. I hope that this time is a proper time to give it to him. Dr. Jenkins.
Yes, ma'am.
This is an eagle. This is an eagle that lights up. And my husband wanted you to have it in your office. So I'm presenting it to you today from James Winky Camphor. There's that button on the bottom. We can turn the light on and leave you. I love you too, thank you. So now I can sit down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Welcome, alumni.
This day couldn't have gone any better. I really appreciate all of you for being here today. And before we close out, we are going to sing the alma mater. And I know that my Coppin Eagles know the words. I know you know it word for word. But if you don't, it is printed in your program. All right? Not yet. Just give us a second. We're queuing up the music.
Hail to thee, Coppin, our alma mater true. We raise our song to thee with hearts anew. Thy name has been our pride, thy light has been our guide, leading us ever on through all the years. Hail to thee, Coppin, our alma mater true, emblem of gladly to make our vow that we shall always stand loyal to thee.
All right. Please, you are welcome to come up, get some photos, look at her.